Hi there. Welcome to my presentation about our case study, Everyday Counts for AP 858 Module 11. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to summarize the case and establish the facts. I'm going to be doing this case study from the perspective of Mr. Rhodes, a first-year school leader who I've chosen is going to be a principal at Golden Oaks High School. A little bit about the absenteeism at this school. 85% of students missed 10 days or more in the fall semester. Some parents have tried to reach counselors about their students' attendance issues and have not been contacted back. Some parents are removing their students for vacation. Well, one minister has removed a student for a long-term church function. At least that's what it seems like. There's some students who are committing truancy and just skipping school, and their parents are allowing this to happen with little care. The athletic director has allowed certain students to prioritize sports over academics and allowed them to skip school on game days. And then there's certain teachers who are retiring who are not reporting attendance. So overall, there's just a lot of issues with attendance and lack of follow-up with staff at this school. So before beginning to analyze what Mr. Rhodes knows and developing a plan for improvement, he's going to consider the ethical and legal issues facing the school staff and stakeholders. So out of this 1944 case, Prince versus Massachusetts, sort of came this idea of parens patriae, which states that the state can act as a father to all in certain instances where children are not being well taken care of in certain regards. What this means is in the education field is if a student skips school a lot, the state can step in and force a student to go to school even if the parents don't want to force that student. The next three, teachers not reporting absences, the athletic director encouraging absences, and the counselors ignoring attendance issues, has real legal ramifications for the school and the teachers, could lead to a lot of issues. Certain states and counties require that grading only be done for academic purposes, tests, homework, that type of stuff, and that you can't grade based off of soft skills. So deducting points for attendance issues could be a legal issue in certain states and counties. And then the teacher signing a letter without dates from the minister really allows the student to just miss as many days as they want. They can put whatever dates are on there and could cause issues for that student down the line. So we're going to synthesize exactly what happens, what Mr. Rhodes is saying. He's saying that the school staff and administration of Golden Oaks High School has lost focus of the importance of attendance, and it's allowed attendance rates to drop without first following policy, without effective corrective action from their previous administration, or without a drive for student success. All three of these are important for getting attendance back on track. So what Mr. Rhodes is going to do now is he's going to look at organizing facts that he knows and needs to know so he can evaluate data and make the right decisions for the betterment of his students. So we're going to start with people. We know that the staff are inattentive to attendance policies. We know that 85% of students have missed more than 10 days in the last semester, which is a lot higher than the very, very tiny percentage a couple years ago when they were the top of the state. So I want to know, have political leaders shifted focus? Like, were they on attendance at schools and now they're focusing on grades, test scores, health of our students, and they just dropped attendance from their focus? Have staff received proper feedback from administration? I doubt it, but we don't know quite yet. And has an increase in diversity led to a decrease in economic status that leads students to need to miss school for to take care of siblings or work to make money for their family? Stuff we need to know. The place. This is a suburb of a metropolitan city where parents typically have to drive 1 to 2 hours a day just to commute to and from work. So we want to need to know what community supports exist to aid students. Is there ride sharing for them, before and after school programs that aid parents in getting their kids to school? And are there places like workplaces, gangs, or any of that that's turning kids from school? The program, there's 965 students in grades 9 through 12. There are 11 team sports and 31 different clubs. There are plenty of activities for students at the school. But does the school have an effective special education gifted or ESL program? Because if they don't, these students that need these are going to be deterred from coming here if it's not helping them? And what assessment data is available at the school to help evaluate reasons for low attendance? This could be like perception data, like with the Kansas Communities That Care Act survey. So now, before continuing with this analysis, Mr. Rhodes must consider the stakeholders most at risk, whether they have been involved in the discussion of attendance issues, and if he needs to know more information to make a data-driven decision. We know that the attendance issues are damaging to students because they're missing out on that education. Staff, because they're having to catch people up and not focus on keeping everybody together. And the community, because when these students graduate, they're not going to be ready to support their community. We can guess, based off what we read, that the guilty staff have not been coached or followed up with, so that's something we're going to need to address. We do need more information on students. We know that 85% of these students, which is 820 students, have attendance issues, and only 5 students have been examined. So I'm not saying we need to look at all 820, but in order to advocate for all students, we need more than just a 5-student sample size. We do know enough to fix some issues, but we don't have everybody's stories, and we don't have a big picture. We only have a 5-student picture. So Mr. Rhodes has examined the facts and data and has taken the stakeholder into consideration. He's now going to develop a list of possible solutions. So I'll go through this briefly. Option 1, if he determines that what he's reading is not what's really happening, he can do nothing. Option 2, if he wants to take action immediately, hard action, he can fire every staff member who's not following policies, and then let every other staff member know that he'll terminate them if they do the same. Some intermediate strategies that can be done. These are things that you wouldn't do alone, but when put together can make one really great strategy. Get a story from those who broke the policy. Why did they do it? We need set expectations for all staff. That's a great thing to do. Hold a meeting with staff or hold a meeting with students. Something possibly could be done. Meeting with staff and students individually. Positive reinforcement for positive attendance or positive reinforcement for following staff attendance policies. Since this is an assessment data class, we could survey staff for improvement ideas. And then last, we could expel, give detention to, ISS, OSS, those students with 10 or more absences. So let's evaluate these options. Mr. Rhodes has laid out a list of options. He's now going to examine the positive and negatives of each option so he can make the best decision to advocate for the students and his school. So option 1, do nothing. The pro is there's no conflict with staff. The con, though, is there's no positive changes being made. Option 2, fire everybody who's not following policy. The pro, it eliminates those not following policy. The con is there's going to be staff turnover because people are going to get scared. They're going to be scared to approach Mr. Rhodes, and it's going to diminish any relationship building. As for the immediate strategies, getting the story from those who broke policy, this does develop relationships with staff and gets the story from all sides. The con, it's going to take quite a bit of time to talk to all of them. Set expectations for all staff. Pro, it sets clear standards immediately, which is a really great thing to do. Con, it could, if not portrayed properly, could be viewed as making changes too quickly. Hold a meeting with staff, it takes very little time to do, but it could be viewed as a lecture or yelling or getting mad at staff members. The same thing with students. A meeting would take very little time, but it can be viewed as a lecture, or getting in trouble, or any of these, so it just needs to be careful. Meet with students and staff individually. The pro is it builds a lot of relationships. It's a great idea, but it does take a long time, so it needs to be an ongoing process. Providing positive reinforcement for staff or positive reinforcement for students, it does make students and staff happy. The con is, if done wrong, it could develop a culture of rewards for doing good. When we're saying positive reinforcement, this needs to be praise, not rewards. Surveying staff improvement and ideas, the pro is it has the benefit of data-driven decision-making, but it can take a while to complete the whole process. So that would mean, once again, to be an ongoing process. Last, we could expel students with 10 or more absences. The pro is this is an easy fix in that it will get rid of all the problem students. But that's not the way we do things in education. It'll diminish any relationship building, could have possible legal ramifications, and it doesn't actually solve the problem. Those students are still troubled and they're not being taken care of. So choosing the best option, Mr. Rhodes has examined the data and stakeholders, brainstormed ideas, and has evaluated those ideas. He's now going to make a decision for how to proceed. So these are the steps he's going to take. He's going to talk individually with staff who broke the policy, find out why. He's going to set expectations for everyone, host a staff brainstorming session to determine how to support kids in the classrooms. He'll reiterate the expectations often. He's going to block time to interact with both teachers and students daily. Develop and follow a protocol for failing to meet expectations. This is going to be to keep things fair for teachers and staff. And lastly, he's going to collect data at the end of the semester and reevaluate. This is where if things succeed, we might continue doing them. If they're going to fail, this is where we're going to change things. So implementing this decision, Mr. Rhodes has developed his plan, and he's now going to implement this plan to improve the attendance and experience of all students, staff, and parents at Golden Oaks High School. This is the final thing. This is where we're going to put it all together. So talking with staff who've broke policy, this needs to be done immediately. It's done to get their side of the story. Why did they break policy? And have they ever received follow-up? Probably not, once again, and this will actually act as that follow-up so they know they've broken policy and need to fix this. We're going to set expectations with everyone. This, once again, needs to be done immediately, as soon as possible. Be done with staff, students, and parents. And this is going to be as simple as doing an email. We're going to send an email out to all these people, and we're going to invite them to reach back out to me so they know that I'm approachable and that I'm here to listen to them and their concerns. At the end of the day, they need to understand this is this could have legal ramifications. This is very important to their students' health, to their learning, and to the overall benefit of the school. So we need to host a staff brainstorming session. This needs to be done within the first month. It doesn't have to be done immediately, but within that first couple weeks or so. So we have time to implement plans throughout the semester. We need to figure out what barriers have prevented students from attending and what supports are we providing, and even more important, what supports and intervention are we not providing that we can be providing immediately? Do we not have pairs there to support students with learning disabilities? We can get more pairs. But we just need to know what supports we need to add in the classroom immediately. Reiterating expectations often. Once again, this is done daily. This needs to be done daily through conversation. It's also going to be done weekly via email. And in that email, I'm going to include praise for those who have improved their attendance, those who have improved their use of attendance policies, taking attendance, any of that stuff. This is that positive reinforcement. Blocking time to interact with teachers and students. Once again, done daily. Whether it's 5 minutes a day, an hour a day, whatever time I have needs to be devoted to building relationships so staff and students know that I'm here for their well-being and for their learning and safety. Develop a follow-up protocol for failing to meet expectations. This is something I did with Olive Garden when I was a manager there. It's used to advocate for fair treatment of all staff and faculty. What it's going to entail is if policies aren't followed, I'm going to coach. Still not followed, I'm going to coach again. After that, I'm going to give them a verbal warning, then a written warning, a final written warning, and if it does not get fixed, the last step would be termination, or if they're on contract or close to the end of the school year, it would just be not renewing their contract. But we're going to give them plenty of opportunity to fix the issue before we get to that point. Collecting data at the end of the semester, reevaluating. This is all part of idea to get better every day and continuous improvement for students in the school. The new data that we get from our reevaluation is going to guide new or continued improvement if certain things are working, new improvement if they're not. We'll design a new plan. Staff will be able to put input on this. Staff will be able to do data analysis and share the results, and we're going to do this together, possibly in a meeting setting. And but the most important thing is this new plan that we create at the end of the semester needs to be student focused. And then we can just redo this every semester until we are all on the right page. Anyway, though, here's my references. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed and learned something here. And we'll look forward to hearing from you. Have a wonderful day.